Legionaries. Every legend begins smaller than the echoes it leaves behind. Before Caesar crossed rivers and rewrote destinies, he was a debtor in a city that worshipped lineage but respected payment more. His fortune was reputation, his collateral, ambition. And Rome, hungry for spectacle, rewarded men who dared to gamble their names. He was born of patrician blood, yet closer to ruin than to privilege. His aunt was married to Marius, the hero now cursed by the Senate. When Sulla's proscriptions turned politics into death lists, the young Caesar refused to abandon Marius's memory. That defiance cost him safety. He fled through marshes, hunted for loyalty to a name, not a deed. The Republic taught him early, survival is politics by other means. When Sulla's terror passed, Caesar returned, thinner but sharper. He learned that fear can rule for a season, but charm reigns longer. He began where few nobles dared, among the priests. The office of Flamen Dialis gave him dignity. His debts devoured it, yet he smiled through them. Rome adored men who smiled under pressure. It mistook calculation for grace. He spoke with rhythm that made reason sound like prophecy. On the rostra, his voice danced between mockery and mercy. He remembered every face he met, every favor owed. Memory became his armor, generosity his sword. To allies he was affable, to rivals inevitable. He understood Rome as theater, the Senate a stage, the people chorus, the laws scripts that could be revised. While others performed virtue, he performed victory. Yet his victories were modest then. Small prosecutions, small offices, small risks. Each a rung on a ladder no one saw rising until he stood above them. In Spain he served as quaestor, standing before statues of Alexander. He wept, not for envy but impatience. Alexander had conquered the world at his age. Caesar had only debts and oratory. That night he vowed that Rome would one day remember his footsteps as it did the Macedonians' charge. Upon his return he built alliances like architects build arches, each stone leaning on another until the span could bear weight. He married, divorced, and married again, not for passion but position. Love was a luxury, loyalty a tool. In the Republic's dusk, sentiment was currency best spent sparingly. When pirates captured him near Farnus, they demanded ransom. He laughed, promised to return and crucify them, and did. The sea learned what the Senate had yet to discover, that his mercy had limits, and his limits were lethal. Back in Rome, he rose through office after office, aedile, Pontifex Maximus, praetor. Each title added marble to his name, but marble weighs heavy. He borrowed from Crassus, the richest man in Rome, and repaid him with influence instead of coin. Crassus bought gold. Caesar bought gratitude. In a city where debtors feared creditors, Caesar made creditors fear him. He courted the crowd with games that dazzled even the jaded. Gladiators marched in parades, beasts roared, torches bloomed against twilight. The people called him generous, senators called him dangerous. Both were right. In the forum, his speeches cut cleaner than swords. He learned the art of appearing humble while rearranging power. The Senate applauded his eloquence and missed the strategy beneath it. For eloquence is politics in motion, and Caesar never stood still. By 40, he had turned exile into memory, debt into momentum, rivals into steps. Yet he remained restless. Influence inside Rome was fickle. Glory abroad was eternal. And so his gaze shifted north toward Gaul, where ambition could breathe without witnesses. But before he marched, he would seal a pact that bound Rome's future tighter than any legion's formation. Imagine 3 men at one table: Pompey, Crassus, Caesar. Each powerful enough to threaten the Republic, none secure enough to rule it. Their alliance, The so-called First Triumvirate was not friendship, it was arithmetic. Pompey had armies, Crassus had gold, Caesar had the people. Together they balanced Rome. Together they doomed it. Through that pact, Caesar obtained command in Gaul, a province vast, wild, and full of both enemies and opportunity. For the Senate, it was exile with honor. For Caesar, a crucible. He would leave Rome as politician and return as legend. Before departing, he walked through the Forum one last evening. The marble gleamed under torchlight, merchants packed their stalls, the air thick with the scent of oil and ambition. He looked upon the Curia and saw not walls but witnesses. Rome would sleep, he would awaken it. In Gaul his legions became his mirror. He shared their hunger, their storms, their spoils. When they built bridges, he built loyalty. When they crossed rivers, he crossed thresholds of history. Word of his victories returned faster than couriers. Cities surrendered, tribes knelt. His dispatches read like hymns to discipline and destiny. Rome's awe fed his legend and its fear. While blood dried on Gallic soil, the Senate whispered. Pompey felt the weight of fame shifting. Crassus fell in Parthia, his ambition silenced in foreign dust. Balance was gone. Caesar stood alone, the sum of his alliances now a single name. But let us pause before that storm. The man who now commands legions was once the youth mocked for his debts. He learned patience, persuasion, and the alchemy of turning obligation into devotion. Power did not change him. It revealed him. Every march, every speech, every calculated act of mercy carved the pattern that would later define empire. He had not yet crossed the Rubicon, yet he had already crossed something deeper. The threshold between serving the Republic and shaping it. History often paints his rise as destiny, but destiny is merely discipline written in hindsight. Caesar did not wait for omens, he created them. When chance failed, he rehearsed miracles until they obeyed. And somewhere in the night camps of Gaul, beside flickering fires, he must have sensed it, that Rome's future now marched under his standards. The republic he served would never again be whole without him, and that truth once born cannot be buried. Legionaries. This is how power gathers, not in thunder, but in footsteps that never retreat. The city that once expelled him will one day open its gates to his triumph. Yet triumphs have echoes, and echoes have debts. In the next part, we will stand with him on the banks of the Rubicon, the river that divides loyalty from legend, order from fate. For now, remember this: ambition is neither virtue nor sin, it is momentum. And when momentum meets opportunity, the world forgets to resist. Rome had forgotten, Caesar had not.